Hello trainers, Ganeto here, and today we are diving together into Spring Cup with a lot of action by the France Revolution, the Factory Pokemon, the amazing, the one and only Galarian Weezing, at the back the Trevenant, and of course the Whiscash as our closer. I think that this line has a lot of potential in the meta, especially upon the lead with your Galarian Weezing. At the back with Trevenant, it's not the safest switch of them all, but still it's gonna provide some extra coverage for your other two Pokemon, while Whiscash can remain here as your closer, especially against a poison type of your enemy, something like a Tentacruel, something like a Galarian Weezing, so that you can have a clear understanding of how this team can work. We're gonna see the entire video and gonna analyze some situations together. So here they decide to back up with their Mobile, which is a pretty smart choice. They want to see what I have at the back, and we end up having a grass type Pokemon, but we can outspeed here to the farm down because we can reach to the Seed Bomb first. Down they go. At the back they have a Roserade, but at this amount of energy that we have, a Blizzard is imminent, and we're gonna start the video with a simple nuke against our enemies. Galarian Weezing against a Ferrothorn, the next one, pretty solid lead because of the overheat that we have, but still that Flash Cannon can be kinda deadly. So I was pretty sure this was not a Flash Cannon. They farmed up to a Thunder, they needed one extra bullet seed to get there, so that's why I let it go through. At this point I'm just gonna throw the double overheat and try my best here, because I'm pretty sure I can grab both of them shields out of the way. Another overheat is coming up, so this is gonna be fatal for that Bomb Snow, so they have to respect it. And at this point I'm just gonna bring into the battle my Trevenant, so this is not looking that well, but still we have a lot of options with that shield, because we can shield that Weather Ball and still reach to our Shadow Ball to finish them off. I'm expecting the next Pokemon, which is the return of the Ferrothorn, and at this point all I have to do is to survive this move, because I know they do not have at all the Flash Cannon. We can definitely do that, and now over farm at the point that we have a Shadow Ball and perhaps a Seed Bomb ready to go before I back out. However, they are taking it with pretty much all of their HP going down. Seed Bomb now on that Whiscash, and of course we can grab this victory. Into the next one now with a Victory Bell upon the lead, looking pretty solid with our poison type Pokemon, and to be honest, even with the overheat we're just gonna destroy them down. They come in with the Tentacruel, and that's why Whiscash is gonna have a lot of play here. We're gonna go ahead and spam our way to victory, but first I need to overcome some obstacles here, because I know that if they block and get to that Scald, perhaps they might have the upper hand here. However, they keep going with those acid sprays, and I'm pretty glad with this, because I can still press now with those Mud Bombs. Another block from that Tentacruel. They really need to stay ahead of energy, so I decided to make the switch here, trying to catch a move, but they thought exactly the same thing, and they have now the Victory Bell coming in, trying to snipe me down with those Razor Leafs. Even one Razor Leaf passing through with those acid sprays could deal a lot of damage. So Seed Bomb at this point is gonna be able to destroy down that Victory Bell, because they were getting super close to another move, and I did not like that at all. So now the Shadow Ball is gonna connect for big damage on that Ninetales, while we still have the upper hand with our Brutal Swing here, since we got a lot of energy to spare. Down they go, and of course now we can reach to the overheat to take that final victory, so they back out. Trevenant up against us, not the best, not the worst though, because we can still do super effective damage back at them, while a simple Shadow Ball can still destroy us down, so we have to be extremely careful. I'm just gonna block here, because this can be pretty much anything they want to throw. They end up going for the bait, which was pretty cool for them, and now I know that I can take one more move from that Wilfish before switching out to my Whiscash and taking advantage of the time. I was pretty sure that I could farm almost to a double Brutal Swing towards the end of the game. That might be kinda problematic for them. At this point we're just gonna take another move, this time another Aqua Tail, and you know what, I'm just gonna take those moves with ease, because I can still reach to the Mud Bomb eventually and finish them off. Down they go, and here comes now my Blizzard to obliterate this Trevenant out of existence, but they decide to block. That's unfortunate. Perhaps I should have gotten to the bait, because that Blizzard was too obvious to happen, and then try to nuke them down. But anyways, I have already put them at a point that the Brutal Swing can be fatal, so down they go. At the back they have the Tentacruel, but to be honest, with the shield up, I'm pretty sure we can absolutely destroy them down with a simple Shadow Ball, and I believe believe that at this point my opponent here knows that, so they will back out eventually, and that's gonna be another great victory for my line. Venusaur in the next one. And Galarian Weezing here is gonna do a lot of solid work up against that Pokemon. They switch out to their Pelipper, and unfortunately, unlike the other time that I had an electric type on my team, this time we do not, so we have to try and catch one Weather Ball on our Trevenant, which is gonna happen, and that's looking magnificent, because now we can reach to that Seed Bomb, and this is gonna look pretty wonderful for my Trevenant over here. They decide to block, and you know what, a counter block is coming up, so we have to block them twice perhaps if we want to have any chance at all, because I'm pretty sure that with all that energy we can definitely take that shield back eventually. So they decide to go in to return to the battle with the Venusaur, so we can get to the Shadow Ball for big damage. And look at how low they are right now. We can easily go in with our Weezing and try to completely farm down a lot of energy. So because they are getting to that Sludge Bomb and it did more damage than I expected, I haven't seen that battle being unfold before, I decided to go ahead and bring my Whiscash into play, and because they have that Lantern at the back, perhaps now we can have a win con here. They need 3 Surfs while we need only 2 of those Mud Bombs. However, they got a shield, so this battle is kinda weird to unfold. So it's all up to who get that next CMP, and we can get it because Whiscash has the bigger mustache, and this is gonna seal the deal against this trainer, because we still got the Brutal Swing to finish off that Venusaur, and we can get that victory. Into the next one now against Blackmeister, a friend of mine that absolutely had the best team up against me. So we're having now the Mobile up on the lead, horrible lead as always. We can still nuke this Pokemon down with the overhits, but to be honest, we have to go past against that Power Up Punch first, but instead they throw the Iron Head, and that totally caught me off guard. Most trainers tend to use Play Rough, so props to them for doing so. Thunder now on my Trevenant. And this is not gonna be that good for that Ferrothorn, but still you can see that they can pressure a lot even on the second try here, but it doesn't matter, we can still get out of this battle with a bunch of energy gathered on my Trevenant, especially that Shadow Ball, which can definitely nuke down that unsuspected Mobile. Down they go, it's all up to the Lapras and my Whiscash now. We have a slight energy advantage here, so I'm gonna try and take advantage of that. So here comes now the Mud Bomb, they're gonna take the first one. I have to get pretty serious here because the battle is not over yet, and they have a Skull Bash option as always. So they're gonna get now to their move, I believe. No, they're gonna overfarm, okay. So now they're gonna get the move, and I have to block whatever that is, so they get to the Surfs back to back, and unfortunately here they have so much energy that perhaps they have back to back as well. Yes, they do, I count correctly here, so yeah, down I go, and that was a pretty interesting battle. We were super close as well to the double Mud Bomb, but still, after one CMP, perhaps they could get that energy ahead advantage, so they could absolutely finish us off eventually with that shield that they had. So yeah, props to them, they definitely outplayed me over there. Into the next one now, and we're facing a Walrein up on the lead, just gonna try to nuke this Pokemon down with the overhit. They decide to block, and perhaps I need to block, then try to catch one move on my Whiscash, but instead I will bring in my Trevenant. So about Trevenant, it's very good safe switch, but not the best, as we have said on the early parts of the video, mainly because it can get easily countered. One of those Pokemons is gonna be the Shiftry, which is kinda non-existent in the meta, but still gonna provide a lot of pressure on my team, especially on my backline. So with that shield, we can safely farm down this Pokemon, and now I can try to go for that bait and the Brutal Swing. Before they block once again, and now my overhit is gonna be able to connect for lethal damage, or at least I hoped that it could connect for lethal damage, but instead they survive with a little bit of HP. As their third Pokemon, they end up having a Tentacruel, and all of a sudden we get a win con here with our Whiscash. So whenever they have a poison type at the back, this team is definitely gonna succeed, and trust me, most trainers are gonna do that. The poison or the steel type with the Mobile, which is still pretty neat for your Whiscash. So able to get here to another one before they reach to the Icicle Spear, which is crazy, and our Whiscash is just gonna dominate on that final matchup as well. Whizzing Whizzing against the Seeking. Let's see who is gonna win this one. Not gonna see today because we're gonna switch out to our Trevenant and they decide to stay in, so that gives me time to get my Seed Bomb and they decide to block here, so that is pretty awesome for us. Gonna block the next one, which is the Ice Wind, and now the Pelipper on the switch, so let's get now to the Shadow Ball for big damage on the Peli. They decide to take it. Look at this, pretty wonderful, and if that is gonna be a Weather Ball, we can still survive. This is not the best though, because they still have a lot of options up against me right now. Perhaps I need to shield if that is gonna be a Hurricane, but instead they throw the Weather Ball and now we can safely farm down. They return with the Seeking, so we have now the Brutal Swings that can do a solid amount of work up against that Pokemon. Trying to catch one move on my Whiscash, we cannot, but still they throw. So it ends up being a nice win, not a drill run, which means now that we have to get to those Mud Bombs in order to bring that Seeking as close as to the red HP bar. At the back they have the Ferrothorn. Things aren't looking that well. It's all up to the Whizzing to do all the severe job that it needs to, and unfortunately they're gonna throw here, so we cannot reach to another Blizzard. Down we go. We have to overfarm at the CMP point. Here comes now the overhit. It's all up to that Brutal Swing now, and they can still debuff us one last time. We have been debuffed a lot on this battle. Will this Brutal Swing be enough to finish them off? No, it is not. They can still survive, but right after we're gonna close this video with a sweet farm down from our Galarian Whizzing. Thank you for watching, trainers. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, and if you want to support even more, well, joining as a member can always help with that matter. Thank you once again, and I hope to see you all into the next one. Take care, trainers.